I'm a veteran here.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
So, while they're getting set up, I'll ask you, going from last year to this year, what have you learned, not only...
Well, last year I wasn't on this show. So
No.
we might have met on something
No,
else.
we met at something else.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so going from last year to this year, what have you learned about the show that you've been able to apply to your character and the development of your character?
Sure. Well, I mean, first of all, truth be told, I haven't seen the first season, but I have worked with Nicole and Eric before, and they sort of filled me in because it all happened very quickly when they offered it to me, and I started right away. So I didn't have time to binge, but they filled me in on sort of the broad strokes. But I think there's stylistically there's quite a departure from last year, from what I understand, to this year, in the sense that it's more of it's more serialized. There's less standalone. It's not really standalone episodes. The entire season is serialized, and the stakes they're pretty high, and they stay high the whole time. So there's twists, constant twists, which Nicole and Eric, I've worked with them before on another show. They're phenomenal at, and twists that are all earned. So, but what I love is. There's a humor. There's no question that they have a great sense of humor. The world is enormous. It's outrageous, and yet it's grounded. And for me, the challenge was coming in. I was hired to play a healer Kai, was finding a way to ground that character. And so I started immediately as soon as I got the role. Started studying Reiki healing online, and I've used that sort of a little bit of that to ground my character.
Kind of flashbacking to your time on Bates Motel.
Okay.
Alex was such a complex character. So how can you differ or compare your character in Midnight Texas to that previous role in Bates Motel?
Okay, cool. That's a good question. That character was so layered, and I think the difference between Bates and the show that was more of a psychological thriller, and this is really a sort of a genre. It attacks the genre, obviously, of vampires, and another in supernatural world, in a wonderful way, in a really rich way. I think the differences between the two characters are so vast. I mean, Alex was so guarded, kept everything so close to the vest that, and I sort of wanted to continue that until I knew that he would fall in love with Norma Bates, and have her character finally open my character up. Only, spoiler alert for those who haven't watched the show, to meet his demise because of that. With this guy, he's pretty open. He's an open book. So for me as an actor to get to play a guy who was so closed to getting to play a character that is completely the opposite. He's a healer, so he has to be open and expressive. Was great. As an actor, I always want to stretch. So it was nice to get to do that.
What were the challenges of dealing with so much of a mashup? You have to kind of think in your head, well, this is kind of not quite this character,
right,
or this kind of creature, or this expectation, but it is.
Right.
There's vampires, but they're not necessarily vampires like we know vampires. There's,
right.
were animals that are not the were animals
that we know exactly. I think that's what I love about it, and that's what Nicole Snyder and Eric Carmel have done so well, is that the characters are unique. They all have unique qualities to them. They all have unique misbehaviors. There's, like I said, there's a lot of twists within the characters. So you think they're one way, then you're wrong. So you're constantly second guessing. And even as an actor, you're like, oh, I thought my guy was more like this. Oh, and then you discover something else, some quirk about him, or So they keep you guessing as actors and hopefully as an audience.
As you're filming, if you yourself had to spend a day in Midnight Texas, what would you do, or what would be your reaction to this town?
I'd worry. I really would worry, because you'll see very quickly in the first episode, my character and my wife Patience, we come to town and to open up shop here because we know this town as a healer. I can sense the energy is right for healing, and it draws a lot of people who need healing to Midnight. Having said that, when you have people with ailments and when you have catastrophes as it happened last year, you're opening yourself up to a lot of problems. So I would, I'm fearful. If I were to stay here in Midnight one night, I'd be scared, especially the hotel that I end up opening the first episode. I'd be a little scared of staying in my own hotel.
Well, you're quite a veteran of a lot of fantasy, science fiction shows, and there seems to be a group of actors that seem to find themselves in that. That gives you a sort of permanence. You're going to have a fan base for the rest of your life.
I've been very lucky and very blessed, and it's to me get to do these worlds that are bigger than life. Is a treat because it's kind of why you got that's why I got into acting to begin with, is to be able to escape in a world in as truthful a way as you can, and the more outrageous the world, the better, because it's the greater the challenge to make it honest.
What were the things that were the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge, I think just getting around the concept of that I'm surrounded by vampires and banshees. Thinking, okay, all right, I just came from Bates. I was a cop, and I was in love with this woman. It was all very real. And now I'm surrounded by vampires, and that has to be real to me. And I have to say these words as if, it's a matter of fact almost. It's just the way things are. So it's accepting the world and also accepting the rules of the world, which Nicole and Eric are very faithful to. So they'll establish these rules at the beginning of the season, and even if we pitch a change here and there, they're like, well, no, we have to honor this rule. So that's great for the fans, because I know once the good die-hard fans are always sort of they're rightly so. They guide themselves by these rules, and because you're setting up this outrageous world, you can't if there are no rules, then anything can happen. So
do you discuss the rules among yourselves?
With the writers, with the writers.
But I mean, also with the cast?
Sometimes, yeah. We'll bring up a way of doing a scene, and then well, hold on a second. I can't do a healing this way because if I heal a supernatural person, it's different than healing a regular person. And so there's differences, which is great. Those nuances are great.
What's it been like filming in New Mexico in this
It's been
heat?
amazing. No, well, I haven't really felt the heat, and I've been mostly working on the sound stage as well. But even outside, it's not too different to LA. LA gets pretty hot too. But it's been amazing, and certainly to play a character like this as a healer, not to sound all weird, but there is an energy here. And maybe it's just because I've been studying Reiki, but to prepare for the role, there is an energy. You can't help as you drive in, this beautiful vast landscape, to feel a different set of energy. And it's pretty remote out here where we shoot. These stages are pretty remote. As you guys drove in, you saw it's pretty vast. The sky is so incredibly vast and beautiful, and the topography is incredible. It's just so. People have talked about the energy of New Mexico, specifically in Taos, but I definitely feel it here, even in Albuquerque.
Do you find yourself do you think you're going to continue with Reiki?
Now I'm really curious. Now that and that's one of the great things about acting, is that you do get to sort of go to school in a sense, and when you study your character. So I want to learn more about Reiki. I've had friends who've done it and say it's pretty powerful. So.
Have you ever been able to discuss this with Charlene? The show and the characters? Do you talk to her? Did she ever come on set?
No, I haven't. I haven't met her. I never got to meet her. No, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet her. I've only been working with Nicole and Eric who took over the season, so I didn't get a chance to talk to her about it. I wish I could have, but maybe next time. Maybe next time I see her, we can get to talk shop.
I want to steal one of your questions, which I thought was great. Do you have favorite shows or books or characters that inform you in some way within this framework or outside of it?
You mean for this particular show?
No, it could be anything, but in the genre, in the idea
in the
of
genre.
fantasy setting. It sounds like you're quite informed in the genre, not just another actor.
It's interesting. Not particularly. No, it's not like there's a particular show or a book that I gravitate to when I do the genre. In the weirdest way, I actually try to ground it as much as I do. So I go back to my roots of studying acting to say, okay, how am I going to tackle this outrageous world, and make it as honest and real as I can. So I kind of go there, if anything, as opposed to the opposite, because the world is already written for me. Now my job is to make it as truthful for the audience as I can.
So Derek, last question. So, getting the hand sign there, or whatever you call it. How does this ultimately inform you as an actor? How will it change you? How do you see this changing you as an actor? Does it open your mind up to things that you haven't thought of previously?
Absolutely. I think, the challenge as an actor for me from the beginning is that you always want to be present in the moment. And any opportunity you get to do a role that challenges you in a way, that stretches you in a way, and like any role, it still asks you to be present in the moment, is a workout. And you're working out, you're working those muscles and that imagination. So to me, hopefully I'll continue to grow and try and be more present and in the moment in every role I do beyond this. So anytime I work, it's an opportunity to connect and be more present.
Can you do me a favor and say